Hi everyone, I'm here to go over your Friday math warm-up, and it is yet another word problem today. And so we've been talking about the last couple days how when you're solving a word problem, you can't just look at it and say, oh, I see kind of a big number and maybe a smaller number, so I think I divide, or, ooh, these look like two small numbers, so maybe I multiply. Especially because now we've been talking about multiplying fractions, and we can see how sometimes you can multiply smaller numbers together as well, or divide with smaller numbers. So today our word problem is, and now remember with word problems we're going to read the whole thing, try to picture what's happening in our mind, and then look at what we're really solving to help us determine what operation we will use. So will we add, subtract, multiply, or divide? So our problem today says Jack is tracking the growth of his plant in the school garden. If the plant grew 155 millimeters between March 1st and March 31st, how many millimeters did it grow each day? Okay, I've read the whole problem. I can picture a plant growing and wanting to know how much it grew each day. So I'm going to go back and circle the information I know. So I know that in total, his plant grew to be 155 millimeters. Actually, I'm going to use a different marker. This one's not working out very well. Okay, 155 millimeters is how much that plant grew total. And it grew that much between March 1st and March 31st. Well, between the 1st and the 31st, there's 30 days in between there. That's the difference between 1 and 31. When you're finding the difference between two numbers, you subtract. 31 minus 1 is 1. Or, sorry, 30. Oh, man. So I'm going to write that that's 30 days. Okay. And I want to find out how many millimeters did the plant grow each day? So every single day. Okay, so let me think about that. If I were to multiply 155 times 30, let's say I was like, that's the operation I'm going to use, you would get a number larger than 155, right? And if that's how much the plant grew each day, after 30 days, you'd have a huge plant. It'd be way bigger than how much we know already the plant grew to be. Okay, the plant's 155 millimeters, that's it. But we want to see how much it grew each day to get there. And so because we're seeing how much it grew over 30 days, how much it grew each day for 30 days, you would have to divide to solve that. So 155 divided by 30, because we're dividing that growth, that total growth, over the 30 days. Okay? All right, so we've read our problem, we've picked out the important information, determined what operation to use. Now we have to solve. So I'm going to erase my word problem. And I'm going to write 155 divided by 30. Okay, and the other day I went over the standard algorithm, so today I'm going to do the magic 7 again. So we talked about how multiplication is the same as repeated addition. Well, division is the same as repeated subtraction. We're seeing how much was in each of those 30 days, or groups of 30, okay? So I'm going to set up my benchmark box. And I talked about how my standard benchmark numbers are 1, 2, and 5. So 30 times 1 is 30. 30 times 2, well, 3 times 2 is 6. And to make it 10 times bigger, I add that 0 from 30, so I would get 60. 30 times 5, again, I can take 3 times 5, which is 15. And to make it 10 times bigger, I add the 0 from 30. Okay, I can already tell from this that I can't do anything bigger than 5 because I'm only starting with 155. All right, so I'm going to look at my benchmark box and see what's the largest amount I can subtract from my dividend, which is 155. And I can take away 5 groups of 30, so I can subtract 150. Okay, and that was that 5 groups of 30 there. And 155 minus 150 equals 5. Now, my remainder right here is 5, and my divisor is 30. But once my number that I have is less than my divisor, it becomes a remainder. So we can see that our answer is 5 with a remainder of 5. But we got to think about that, okay? With our problem, we wanted to solve how much did the plant grow each day, right? And we're measuring that in millimeters. And so it definitely grew 5 millimeters each day. But I want you to think about what would we do with our remainder here? So it could be that across the 30 days, it grew typically 5 millimeters, but maybe over 5 days, it actually grew 6 millimeters. Okay, or you can try to decide, well, maybe, because again, that's we could look at it as a fraction, okay, where we have 5 as our whole number. And if you think about like when we're making mixed numbers, how your remainder is your numerator and your divisor is your denominator. You could also say that every single day the plant grew 5 5/30 millimeters. Okay. And then we could even reduce that fraction. We talked about reducing and simplifying fractions this week in your slides. And I know that 5 and 30 can both be divided by 5. 5 divided by 5 is 1. Whoops. And 30 divided by 5 is 6. So you could even say, instead of 5 5/30, that it grew 5 1/6 of millimeters each day. Okay? All right. If you have any questions about that, this one's a little bit of a trickier problem because you got to think about what you do with your remainder. Do you break it up over the days? Do you create a mixed number for how much the plant grew each day? I think you'll probably want to go with a mixed number. It's a little bit easier. But if you have questions about this problem, make sure you can reach out to me or another one of your math teachers. I hope you guys are having a fun Friday, and I can't wait to see you guys soon. Bye.